It's DEW Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, and good morning again. Rise and shine. You're on with this DEW Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you last week? Oh, we had a short week, but we had a powerful week over here on this DEW Time with Pastor Steph. Oh, we started off midweek with our girl Vivian and her socially conscious segment, and we talked about that snowball fight, that social media snowball fight. Yeah, the invite to go on down to Washington Park here in New York City and throw a friendly few snowballs. Well, as always, things get out of control, and before you knew it, the NYPD was involuntarily involved. Yeah, they had to be treated medically because there were some injuries when people started throwing snowballs at the cops. You know, you just can't trust people. Just stay home. Don't even bother to get involved, because those who did throw the snowballs and hurt the NYPD, you better believe they after them. Yes, they got video and everything, and they plan on holding everybody involved accountable. So, listen, just stay home, have your snowball fight in your backyard and call it a day. We talked about the federal government that's suing New Jersey. Yes, the whole state of New Jersey. Why? Because New Jersey won't let their ICE agents just run amok. Yes, they say that thanks to ICE, their residents are afraid to go to school, church, everywhere, because they're always looking over their shoulder because they don't know when they're going to show up. And the federal government wants to let ICE do what they want to do, but New Jersey says, I don't think so. So yeah, come on, bring that lawsuit, because they've been after New Jersey before and they did not win. So they're going to try this again, and we'll see how it all ends up playing out. Well, we talked about the microphones on one more time over at a community council meeting where Hunter College Professor Allison Freeman was talking to her child and was overheard saying they're too dumb to know that they're in a bad school. Well, her son or daughter, whoever it was, they're in the same bad school. What are you talking about? You know, you just can't try to get this logic behind people. Well, her microphone was live and she was heard, and her bosses at that point were trying to figure out what they were going to do with her. You know, you just can't say the things that you want to say anymore. You really can't say the things you want to say anymore. So, listen, you are going to have to pay the price for just opening up your mouth these days. Okay. Well, we had our girlfriend, Minister Gertie Gordon, on last week telling us all about the Bell School. Yes, that's that cosmetic school that she's opening up. The hard launch just went over yesterday, she said, as of March 1st. So you should be hearing a whole lot more about that. And Friday, Freestyle Friday's conversation was crazy with the men as we talked about Teddy Riley, who said he wanted to work with R. Kelly, and then when he started getting some backlash, he retracted that statement so fast. And that's what we were talking about. Should R. Kelly be allowed to make music from the prison cell? So I don't know how you weigh in, but definitely, it was a thought-provoking conversation, as always with the men. Well, last night, we started our week off powerfully as Pastor Carol and I had our segment. Let's talk about resilient living. And last night's conversation was about emotional strength and emotional direction. And I tell you, it was powerful. That chat room was moving. Oh my goodness gracious. All I saw was stuff just flying. We couldn't even keep up with the chat room. No, but I tell you, prayer, trying to ask God how to lean on Him, during these times of emotional, you're just like way down emotionally, and we need that emotional strength. And the only place we can get it is from God, and the only place we can get emotional direction from, that crazy thing that happens when you're all emotional, you're kind of making moves and that may not be the direction that God wants you to go in. Yeah, you got to think about that stuff. You're not only needing strength, but you need to have direction as well. So, and that was not my topic. I didn't think about that topic. That topic came from Sabbath. So, boy, we really had a high weekend, a high beginning of the week. And now we have landed on today. Oh, we're shaking the Monday morning blues. Yes, we are. We're glad to have you with us. And I invite you to come on and enjoy the party. So go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, everybody that it's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere because we will be right back.
Picking up that drink, work on your business. Instead of going out clubbing, work on your business. Instead of arguing with that person, work on your business. Instead of running the streets, work on your business. Okay. Instead of chasing people, work on your business. Okay. This is what I mean by being self-motivated and having discipline. Work on your business. Because if not, it's going to disappear. You're not going to see it anymore. You're not going to feel it anymore. The only thing you're going to feel is frustration because you're not walking in your purpose. You're not using your gifts. So if you don't take nothing from this video, what you're going to take is today is the day. And every time you play this podcast, you're going to realize that today is a day for you to get up and get started or get up and continue. Instead of picking up that
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph, and we are shaking the Monday morning blues. I like that PSA. Instead of doing all of this other stuff, get to your business. We waste so much time just like messing around and doing all kinds of things. Last week we talked about that, that scrolling and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And, we really got to make sure we focus, because when we don't focus, we really get nothing done. And how many times you hear, people wanting to get stuff done, but yet they out partying, they out clubbing, they hanging out, they hang with the wrong people and all kinds of things. Listen, if you want to be successful, you're going to have to put some work in. You ain't going to have time to be parlaying. No. I always say work hard now, play later. I surely do. Listen, I want to say good morning to everyone who's out there in due time world. So please, if you're in the room, check in. Let me know you're out there so I can say a hearty good morning. Good morning and good morning to you. Okay, so we got to check in from our girl, Ketty. Good morning, Ketty. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We got to check in from our boy, Serge. Hey, Serge, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We got to check in from our girl, Lady Tamika, and we can't wait to get to talking to her this morning. We got a check-in from, is this Nietzsche? We're going to leave it just like that so I don't mess up the rest of the name. So good morning. Hi. Thank you so much for joining. It's always Ava. Okay. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy to have you on with us. And Katie says that's a great PSA. I agree. Well, we always must say good morning to the ladies that keep us held down each and every time you see us live here. And that is our girl Shantice. Hey, Shantice. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you on this side of the screen in a little moment. And we have a check-in from our girl Anika. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. So appreciative of you ladies. They work hard. Oh my goodness. They work hard, so hard to ensure that we are up and running, and we are up and running properly. Yeah. So, you know what we do first thing on a Monday morning? We get to our health tips. Yes. And today we're talking about our digestive health. Yep. The foods that help us digest foods better, foods that digest better than other foods. And they want us to know that our digestive health is vital. Yeah, to our overall well-being, and the key to supporting a very smooth digestive system lies in the food that we eat. Okay, so we want to make sure that we focus on the fact that high fiber foods are the foods that really play that essential role in keeping our digestive tract kind of functioning. Okay, and moving. So we want to make sure that we don't have that bloating and we're not having those digestive issues, because those things actually add up. Yeah. And they cause bigger problems. So we want to get rid of that. We want to make sure we eat properly and get those things taken care of on a regular basis. So let's get to these foods. So make sure you get that pen and paper. As you get that pen and paper, we want to say good morning to our Miss Grace. Oh, good morning. So happy to see you checking in. Thanking God for you being well enough to say good morning. And we hope that you have a blessed day. All right. Okay, you got those pens and papers out. We're talking about that digestive tract, and we're getting the foods that are going to help us feel better and get that digestive tract moving. We don't need that acid reflux. We don't need, all of that indigestion. Nope. So we're going to eat some avocados. Okay. They say avocados are a fantastic source of fiber that promotes healthy digestion. They say 10 grams of fiber, that's what's in a single avocado. And the combination of what they call soluble and insoluble fiber in avocado helps to regulate your bowel movements, reduce bloating, and will support a healthy gut. So let's make sure we get those avocados in our system. Okay? Listen, avocados can go in your smoothies. They can go on top of your burger. They can be eaten with your salad. Avocados, guacamole. Yes, you can eat it broken down, which is a lot more tasty, because avocados are extremely bland. But once you kind of doll them up a little bit, you ain't got nothing to worry about. They are delicious. Oh, we're talking about that digestive tract and making sure we have a good digestive system. Chia seeds. Oh, one of my favorite. Fiber powerhouse little things. Yes, they say just 1 ounce, which is about 2 tablespoons, will contain 10 grams of fiber. Okay, and these tiny little seeds absorb water and they expand, so they are like gel. Okay, and when you eat, it will help to slow down your digestive system so you feel full longer. Okay, and you're not adding all that food on top of one another. Yeah, because most times we won't eat if we're full. Okay, so they're saying that chia seeds definitely help prevent constipation, promotes a smooth up bowel movement, and chia seeds are another versatile thing. You can actually drink chia water in the morning. Yeah, just put like 1 tablespoon in a glass of water, let it gel, and drink it down. Do not, please. I have read articles about people who like take a spoonful of chia seeds. That stuff expands, and it has definitely like choked people because the saliva and it gels instantaneously. Yeah, if you put water on chia seeds, instantaneously they begin to swell. So you want to make sure you give it maybe about a half hour. They say 10-15 minutes. No, and especially for me and those of you who have sensitive intestines or already sensitive digestive system, because I have actually eaten chia seeds or chia pudding too soon, and I could actually feel them swelling in my system, in my stomach. Yeah, believe it or not. So I have learned I don't eat chia pudding until the next day. Yes, so chia seeds will definitely benefit your digestive health. Again, you can do the chia water, you can do chia pudding, you can put them in your overnight oats, you can put them in your smoothies. Yes, and again, give it time to swell. Okay, so chia seeds are very, very, very very beneficial, and they're good. It's good if you make your chia pudding right, your overnight oats right. You're really going to enjoy it. So we're talking about those foods that help with your digestive tract, that have like fiber. Oats we just got finished talking about, that are oatmeal, and the oats are definitely good for your digestive health. They are rich in soluble fiber that binds to cholesterol and toxins in your digestive tract, and it helps to flush all of that bad stuff from your body. Okay, it definitely helps again to regulate your bowel movements, softens your stools, and makes it easier to go to the bathroom. So oatmeal, another thing, you can eat them with granola, you can eat them with berries, you can put it in your what do you call it? You put a little bit in your smoothie to help to fill you up, because that's definitely another food that helps you feel full longer. Okay, lentils, as always, we got some legumes or some beans somewhere on these lists. Lentils are a great source of plant-based protein loaded with fiber, and a single cup of cooked lentils contain 15 grams of fiber. Okay, so you definitely want that in your system, and lentils cook very quickly. Yeah, you don't have to wait on that. Soak them a little bit. Have that water going with a little vegetables in it already, maybe some celery, some carrots. Yeah, and throw those bad boys in there. Before you know it, they're soft. You eat them up. Okay, so they say lentils are rich in antioxidants, and that will support gut health by reducing inflammation. So lentils are definitely good for that as well, for those of us who are dealing with that inflammatory issue. Apples, 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 apples. Remember that little saying when we were growing up? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Yep, here we go again. They say apples are an excellent source of both soluble and insoluble fiber, especially the skin. Yes, so you don't want to peel your apple. You want to eat the skin. If you're talking about having problems going to the bathroom, this is another item that you can eat that will help you keep your flow to the bathroom. Okay, so you want to get that healthy gut, throw an apple up in your system. Oh, here we go, Shantice. Sweet potatoes. Oh, all right, good for your digestive system. Great source of fiber. They say 4 grams of fiber in a medium-sized sweet potato. And you are getting your vitamin A, potassium, and antioxidants when you're eating the sweet potato. Okay? Our digestive health, our gut needs broccoli. Yes. They say broccoli is among the top vegetables for digestive health. Wow. All right. They say a cup of broccoli contains around 5 grams of fiber. Just 1 cup. 1 cup. And it's filled with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and all of those things aid in digestion. All right, so you want to definitely get that broccoli in your system. It helps to prevent constipation. It reduces bloating. And broccoli is another thing that can go a long way. Salads, stir fries, all kinds of things. Okay, and you better believe this is on that list. Berries. There you go. So we done got our digestive system. If we make that smoothie, we put a little oatmeal in there, we put a little berries in there, we put, what else was on this list? Chia seeds, apples. Yes, I put apples in some of my smoothies. So you got like 4 things. Now your digestive system should be, if you make one smoothie, because you didn't just added all of these things. So the berries, as always, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, all those berries add to your digestive aid. All right. You're going to get that fiber. You're going to get those antioxidants that help fight inflammation. It's going to support your gut health. It's going to make you feel so much better. And again, that smoothie, if I call out some of the stuff that was on this list, your berries in that smoothie, chia seeds in that smoothie, you've got your oatmeal in that smoothie. Yo, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Sweet potatoes, avocados. That's what I wanted. That's what I was thinking about. Avocados. I put avocados and apples. So here, let's make that smoothie, y'all. Okay. We're going to add the avocado, the chia seeds, a little bit of oatmeal. You can use like a teaspoon or so of oatmeal because it swells. You're going to add, that's 3, right? Apples, 4. And berries, 5 things. And your digestive system will be singing for the rest of the day. All right. So get that oat milk or almond milk, or cashew milk, soy milk, those things that are going to be a little lighter, not that dairy on, in there, but just get that little plant-based milk. And all of those things are really good. You may just find your favorite. I happen to favor oat milk. I like oat milk. I care much for the almond milk and the soy milk, but definitely that oat milk I love. I really do. And you can do your chia pudding with oat milk. You can do your overnight oats with oat milk or almond milk, soy milk, cashew milk. Yes. So, can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. All right. So what we talking about today in our news? I found some real interesting stuff in the news this morning. Well, last night for this morning. So, you've got this mother and son duo out in the rural part of Illinois. Now, we know what the rural part is. That's the part where there's like a house every 90 years apart. Yeah, it doesn't have a lot in it. Very, very landish. Yeah. And you have this white mother and son who went on a months-long campaign of racial harassment and intimidation of their black next-door neighbor. Now, this is a real rare occasion because, again, like I said, in rural areas, you don't really find a lot of population. But this goes back a little bit, back in 2020. And now they are charged with paying him $90,000 in damage. Now, this has been going on. This was going on, they said, for 1 month. But I tell you, the amount of stuff that they did in this 1 month. This Cheryl and Chad Hampton. Cheryl, mom is 70. Son is 49. They really took this Gregory Johnson, the black neighbor, through some stuff, really. So, according to the file, the lawsuit file, they began their racist behavior by doing a whole lot of little things. So, at one point, they dragged a Confederate flag with the word NI on it, painted in black paint on the pane, and that's what started this friction. You know, he let them know that this was bothering him. Could they take it down? And they were like, no. They had ridden a lawnmower, a riding lawnmower, on his property and cut up his grass. Yes, they did that. He ended up erecting a retractable fence on his property line to prevent them from using this lawnmower. And when he came out one day, the fence was cut in half. Oh my goodness gracious. So he called the police. They did come out. They did, ask some questions, and they did go over to the mother and son, asking them to remove these things, this Confederate flag, and, stop harassing him. And, mom was real indignant, because when he left, the next thing he said, he witnessed the son spraying the lawn with weed killer. So now he's destroyed all the grass on the man's property line, and he pulled down some more of the fence and really just taking this man through all kinds of things. But what really did it was when the son sprayed a large swastika with black paint on the garage door of their rental property, but was within the direct view of this Mr. Johnson. And then they hung like a body, like a dummy, from a tree that he could see. So they hung this black dummy up on a noose from the tree in their yard. And they put this wig on this dummy. They put chains around the dummy's waist. Oh, they stuffed they put him like this little sweater jumper on, and it was meant to be intimidating because they said this was kind of like the same sweater that Mr. Johnson used to wear. So they were really trying to really put him through some things. So he called the cops again. And this time, not only did the cops come out, but a lieutenant came out, and now the mayor, are you ready? The mayor actually went out there with the lieutenant to talk her into removing this figure from the tree, telling her that it definitely appeared racist and it was offensive to the man next door. She claimed it was a Halloween decoration and she wasn't taking it down. She was tired of the people complaining, blah, blah, blah. Well, 2 cops ended up having to cut the dummy down, and they said it was so heavy they knew that she could not have hung it up by herself. The son had to be involved. So they pushed this thing. The mayor and the lieutenant, they pushed this, and this ended up going to court. And they won. He won. Mr. Johnson won. And they were like, you know what? We're not gonna, deal with this anymore. So what they did was they charged the both of them, the mother and the son, $45,000 each. Now, if you saw that picture, you know they ain't got no $45,000. But that didn't stop the attorney general from really getting involved and just kind of holding them accountable. Yeah, just because this was just out of control. And can you imagine living with this every day? And this was only in 1 month. So it doesn't say what started them up, to start to do these things, and why all of a sudden, this was something that they did, and but good for them. Good for them. At least you understand now that you can be touched. Okay, good. I'm very happy. Well, you've got this next story where this ex-teacher out in some part of South Africa, oh gosh, she assaults and drowns her 4-year-old stepdaughter and then asks for leniency during the sentencing. Now, here's how this story goes. They say that Nada Jane Chalita, she is responsible for doing all of this stuff to the daughter and then killing her. So she confessed to drowning the girl during an emotional, here we go again with this emotional issue, to this emotional dispute with the child's father over his infidelity. She claims that her borderline personality disorder factored into her actions, and she acknowledges that she was fully aware. And, the things that she did, she recognized that she was out of control. And she did attempt suicide multiple times after she murdered the little girl. But that does not negate the fact that you put this child, 4 years old, through this horrific experience, and then you killed her. So, but here's the thing that makes matters 10 times worse. When they were doing the autopsy, they saw that she had some type of damaging in her private area, and realized that this woman had also sexually assaulted her. And they were like, you really did all of this to her? And she was like, yeah, I did this because I was really taking out on her what I felt for the father. That was one. The other thing she said was that she knew that if she left the little girl there, that supposedly the little girl would suffer being with the father. So the father would not be taking care of her well, and she would be better off dead. So she did all of this stuff, torturing all of these things to this little girl until she ended up drowning and killing her, all because she thought that the little girl would be better off dead and would not be taken care of properly if she were left with her natural father. Now, it doesn't say where the mother, the mother of the child is or was, if she's living, if she's in another country, if she's around the corner. But somehow or another, the father had custody, and this is what this little girl did. And you are actually on the stand talking about you snapped, and could there be some level of leniency given to you? For what? There was no leniency given to the baby. Why would you possibly need leniency? No, go away. Go away. So, we move on to the next crazy story. And you've got, remember a few weeks ago, I did like the evening, There's More to Be Said, and we talked about these kids who were trying to break into this man's house, and he ended up killing them, and the parents were upset. Remember that? Yeah. Well, here we got another set of stupid teenagers. They broke into a minister's home in Oregon and ended up killing him. But here's the thing. So as they were breaking into his house, again, in Portland, Oregon, they have that stand your ground rule. And he took out his gun and he went to defending himself. He said because he heard all of this noise as they were breaking into his house. Well, when they started shooting, he jumped in front of the bullet that was going to hit his 4-year-old grandson. And he subsequently was hit. So, unfortunately, a few days later, he ended up passing away from the injuries. Now, you've got 19-year-old Zaire. You've got 18-year-old Davion. You've got 18-year-old Jaden. And you've got 18-year-old Jordan. And you've got some other 17-year-old kid that it amazes me when they protect them by not giving their name, but they didn't wreak all this havoc. What protection are you owed? What protection are you due? What protection should you get when you didn't just went in this man's house, broke in this man's house, fired a shot that could have killed the 4-year-old, but he jumped in front to block the 4-year-old child, and he ends up dead later. But you get protection of your name. I'm sorry, there would be no protection. All right. So they're all charged as adults, needless to say, because they are adults. Only that 17-year-old one was not an adult, and he's being charged and as an adult as well. And again, prayers up to another family. Another family. because you are wreaking havoc in these people's lives and you're bringing tragedy to these innocent people. This is just like the thing to do these days. People are minding their business in their house. That's why, when you in your house, you ain't all that safe. No, you are safe from the outside, but you are not all that safe from the inside. So you need to really keep yourself prayed up, because I'm telling you, this is crazy. This is really, really crazy. We got some chat room conversation going on. Oh, let's see what we got here. I can catch up with the conversation. All right. Shanti says, Anika says, sick people. Shanti says, disgusting, poor baby. Talking about the little girl with the stepmother. Shantice is celebrating the fact that they caught them. She says, listen to their names. You know where they are. You know what side of the fence they're on. Yes, you do. To Ty Davion and Jaden and Jordan. Yeah, big time. Okay. Oh, but here's the story of all stories for this morning. Really crazy. All right. Are you ready for this? So, you've got another, and this is the way the news is giving it, so I'm giving it to you the way they're giving it. You have a black mom out in Texas, Summer Smith. And back when her son was in, I believe, middle school. Yes, he was in junior high school. He had a nasty prank played on him. So he goes over to a friend's sleepover for the friend's birthday. While he was there, they put urine in a cup, gave it to him to drink, and he drank it. Having been so upset, mom puts the kid on blast. So Summer Smith, who's the mom of the child who drank the urine, put the friend whose house and birthday it was, and sleepover it was, she put him on blast. Let me give you the summary of this story. And she put out that he had done this thing and how he treated her son. I don't know if anyone else was a part of this prank or this joke, whether they were a victim or a participant. Only mentions two people, the victim being Summer Smith's son and the perpetrator. And his name is, try to find his name, Asher Van. So Asher Van is now 19 years old. And they pressed charges on Summer Smith and her attorney because they said that there's no way she should have been putting this person who was a child on blast. Now, mom says she never mentioned a name, and she didn't mention like some other vital and confidential, if you will, information. But they found out that it was Asher Van. And he's claiming it wasn't fair for her to have done that it was immature of him, it was stupid, it was nasty, but that's not who I am, and that's not me today. This wasn't me doing a racist act. This isn't me hating someone because of their skin color. This was me at an immature stage of my life at a sleepover for my birthday doing immature, dumb things. That's the way he explained it away. Well, are y'all ready? They have ordered mom to pay $3.2 million because of Asher Van's blowout. Yeah, she blew him out. And they're saying that was unfair. I don't even know what to say. So mom was taking care of business as she deemed necessary because of what they did to her son, what this boy did to her son. And the way it continues to be said is that he gave her son a cup of urine to drink. So I don't know how much of the urine. Somebody help me with, if your kids don't know how to go over to somebody's house and not drink urine, they need to stay home. You don't need to send them to nobody's house. Years ago, we would ask to go to somebody's house and my mother would say, for what? You got your own house. We weren't allowed to sleep over people's house. You entrust your child to this family, and the prank is on him. Where my Do Time crew at? And now mom is being sued. Where's Lady Tamika? Because somebody gonna have to explain this one to me. Good morning, Lady Tamika.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you today?
I am well, thank you, up until I got to this story.
I can understand.
Girl, somebody handed him a cup of urine to drink, and he drank it. And here's the bad part. It wasn't that he didn't know it was urine, Tamika.
That's the part that gets me. Like, I'm floored on this part.
Yeah, that's the speechless, right? When it starts to marinate in your brain, you're like, okay, where does my brain go from here?
Right.
You didn't know your child was that weak, Tamika, that you couldn't send your child to somebody's house because he would drink urine?
So my question is, before you got the cup, you knew it was urine? I'm confused. Or as you were getting ready to sip it, like, the whole reason that God gives us our senses, sight, smell, okay, something don't smell right. Urine has a smell. So before I take it to my mouth, and did mommy not teach you when you're out and about, you don't do the same thing that you do at home? If I am in my home and I hand you a glass, you just sip. You don't think. We've had many a times where people taste things that you don't look at your sandwich. You don't look at. It's something in a cup somebody handed you.
Girl.
Where comes those senses, those instincts? Girl. Were you laughing? You handed it to me.
Girl.
Did you pay attention to what sight, sound? We have these senses for a reason.
Girl. So we move from you actually drank this to your mother sounding off, didn't give the boy's name, didn't give Asher Van's name, did not let any information out, and they are now suing her because she did too much. She embarrassed him. She told everybody what he did. She didn't tell anybody what he did. She talked about what happened, and somehow or another it got out. Well, guess what? It was because it was a birthday party and it wasn't just the two of them in the house.
I don't see how that makes a difference. You did it. You put urine in a cup. I don't care if it was a birthday celebration or what difference does it make? The fact that he ingested somebody's urine. I don't know if it was in the toilet or if you actually urinated in a cup.
No. It was a cup. It was a cup. They continually say in the article it was a cup of urine. But you gave it to him to drink. Right. But your explanation, Tamika, that I was immature. It was stupid. It was nasty, but that's not who I am, and that's not me today. This wasn't me doing a racist act. This isn't me hating someone because of their skin color. This was me at an immature stage of my life at a sleepover for my birthday doing immature, dumb things. That's how we feel like there was some injustice done when the word got out that I was so disgusting that this is what I did.
So how many other people did you give the drink to?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why when mom says, I didn't give any information, I just put the story on blast, but I didn't put the name on blast. I didn't put the person on blast because there were other people there, Tamika. Yeah, it's going to get out. Right. Well, you're going to have to eat the things that you do. I don't care what age it is.
Absolutely.
Child, let's hear what Pastor KL's got to say about this thing.
Oh, and before we go through that, I just wanted to say happy March month. It is the best month of the year.
Oh, you know.
A new spot.
Oh my goodness gracious. Happy March month, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, Pastor KL, what kind of story is this? Good morning.
Good morning. First of all, I like to ask you ladies a question. You know, I've never drank, I've never gotten high. But today I have a spiritual hangover. I don't know if you people have listened to what happened yesterday on the show, but I'm still high from last night. You know, they tell me when you have a hangover, you just want stuff to be quiet.
Yeah.
So excuse me if I'm just quiet today, because I got this hangover. But I'm sorry. I regret. So let's go on to this story. This was a crazy story. So I'm trying to understand who got sued. Was the one who blasted him got sued, or was the one who poured the drink got sued?
When mom found out what happened, she put the story on blast that happened to her son. She didn't mention names. She said she just mentioned what happened. And now, because he's had to live with this, Asher Van has to live with this reputation of having given someone a cup of urine to drink. They sued mom and her attorney, and they have now been ordered to pay Asher Van, the perpetrator, $3.2 million.
The perpetrator. Wow.
The one who handed over the cup of urine.
Right. I mean, I think that's totally ridiculous. So you shoot me, and I'm shot, but I'm the one who sued.
Yep.
That's kind of crazy. But then I have a question too. Is it not, negligence to that person as well? Like you guys said, you don't know what P is. Now, this is a time when I need Shantice because she's worked in the restaurant business, and I know they have some kind of name for sweet tea and lemonade. They mix that in. You know what I mean? It's a drink, but it's called something. I mean,
what'd you say, Mika?
RB Wallbanger.
No, not the alcohol.
No,
when
that's the sweet
when they want you to mix the sweet tea and lemonade, there's something that's called.
name. Yeah, Vivian says
So
her name all the time. Yeah.
so I mean,
Arnold,
did they?
she got
Huh?
it. Arnold Palmer.
Arnold Palmer.
There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. So I mean, was there something mixed with the urine that you thought it was a fruity drink or something? I just don't understand. How do we just drink urine? I don't
I don't
understand.
either. I don't
I
either.
think that's contributory negligence. You contribute to
I
your own
don't.
negligence.
Yeah. I don't either. I don't either. We got to check in from Deacon Diallo. Hey, Deacon Diallo, thank you for joining us this morning. And Tamika, Miss Grace says, I'm sorry, June is the best month of the year. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm just surprised Miss Grace typed all of that in. And that's the part that's killing me. Yeah, this is the part I'm having a big problem with. You send your child out to a sleepover. He doesn't have enough sense not to fall for this type of prank. Then you really needed to keep him at home, and he should never be let out of the house again. Ever. That's the problem that I'm having. I just envision somebody inviting my girls over to a sleepover, and they actually get there and fall for this prank. I'm going to beat you just because. There's going to be a lawsuit, all right. I'm going to beat you just because. Just because I ain't never fed you urine. You going to tell me you don't know the difference between the food that you've been eating and urine? You know, you can't tell the difference between the drinks you've been drinking and urine? Really? I can't. But the fact that they have been mandated to pay $3.2 million. Now, Asher Van says that he's not expecting to get the money. You know, he understands that he won't get $3.2 million. He just don't want to be seen as a monster. Thank you, Tamika. Thank you. Whoa for you. Who cares about your feelings? Child, I'm telling you, this world is an absolute mess. An absolute mess. You do something that heinous and you worried about your reputation. All righty. Well, let's go to our topic. I got so caught up. I was looking at the wrong device. Oh my goodness. Well, you know, to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, Pastor KL, when I kind of settled down last night, there was a strange aura of peace. From top to bottom, I don't think I've ever felt that level of peace in years. And I could attribute it to the broadcast last night. It was amazing. Amazing. So those of you who missed it,
you know what's
go
funny,
back
Pastor
and
Steph?
listen. Yes.
Every morning I wake up at 2:30 a.m. No matter what time I go to sleep, whether I go to sleep at 5 o'clock in the afternoon or 9 o'clock like we did last night. Every day I wake up at 2:30 in the morning. This morning I didn't wake up till 5 o'clock.
Wow.
At 5 o'clock,
Amen.
slept right through it. I was at so much peace.
Amen. If you did not check it out last night, you can watch it on Facebook, Coach for Christian Life. You can watch it right here on YouTube, A Closer Walk Christian Media Network, or you can listen to it. It'll be uploaded today. I didn't upload it yet, but you know, by the end of the day, you'll be able to listen to it if you can't watch. But you can definitely see it on Facebook and YouTube. So, being that it's Relationship Monday, I stumbled across something that I thought was really interesting. And it says, if your man is missing these traits, no matter how much you two get along, nothing's going to save your relationship. So I'm going to say it again. If your man is missing these traits, no matter how great y'all get along and how much, the stars might say that he's your man and he's it, and there's nothing that's going to save that relationship. Honesty is the first thing on this list. Tamika, agree or disagree?
Ooh, that's high on the list. I can't even trust you to tell me the truth. You come up and concoct stories. Don't you realize that every time you tell a lie, it's going to come back and haunt you? Oh, I paid the bill. You sitting here in the dark.
Nah.
Just be honest. Even if it hurts, just work to be honest.
All righty. All right. Pastor KL, no matter how great you are together, if he does not have the trait of honesty, ain't nothing gonna save that relationship. Agree or disagree?
Totally agree. Anything built on a lie is going to crumble eventually. Anything but if you start off lying, see, and we always say it, our mothers used to say it, if you say one lie, you got to say another lie to cover that lie. So you lying your whole relationship. You lying your whole marriage because you got to keep, and then, 5 years down the line, you say something, you got to remember that you lied about it 5 years ago when I first met you.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, a man's mind ain't that long. We say it and forget it. We not remembering 5 years ago that we said this. No. So I mean, and then men think, well, that was 5 years ago. She got to be over that. She gonna stay with me. No,
right,
that woman gonna let her go.
Yeah. He figures she's gonna forget. She's not thinking about it anymore. I've done so much since then that it's not gonna matter. Yeah, nah. Okay. The same way your memory is short, our memory is quite long. Yep. Yep. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. What'd you say?
I lived with an elephant.
Okay. Yes. Women don't forget nothing, I tell you. They say caring is the next thing on this list, Tamika. Would you agree that no matter what, if you find that he's not caring, nothing's going to save that relationship?
Yeah, and there are signs, that he just doesn't care. And, maybe a couple of months in, it's just, let's talk about it, and then you start really realizing he could care less, and it doesn't matter how much you do and, you fix up things and you blah, blah. He literally doesn't care, and you're going to find yourself, trying to pick up the pieces when in actuality, in the very beginning, he showed you. I don't care. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you say. I don't care how you dress yourself up. I don't care. You're just doing all these measures for nothing.
Wow. Pastor KL, caring, do you think that they're accurate when they say they're not going to say that relationship if he doesn't care?
Exactly. But unfortunately, we women use the excuse that, oh, he's just quiet, he's not emotional, he's not in touch with his feelings. He doesn't say I love you. He doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. But the brother don't care. You say I'm going out with my girlfriend, see you, talk to you later. Mm-hmm. We don't care you dressed up. Hey, I got a new dress on. Okay, that's nice. We don't even notice you got a new dress on. We don't know what the old dress looked like. You know what I mean? Certain things if we don't care, we are not in tune that you got on lashes. You know what I mean? The first thing we say is, there's something on your face. We don't. Oh, is there something different about you today? But other than that, we don't care. We not in tune with you. Sorry.
Well, let me ask you this. I think I have the answer, but I want
Okay.
to ask you this.
It's still high
um,
now.
how do you get to the point where you don't care? Is it that you never cared, or
Yeah, I'm
that
about to
you
say that.
used to
It's
care?
not, sometimes it's not how did I get to that point. It's that I walked through the door not caring. I had other agendas. I was homeless. I needed a place to stay. I don't care what you do. Just let me stay here until the summertime comes. You know what I'm saying? Or until I come up. Or you nagged me
Mm,
so much, about stuff that I really don't care about. That now I've totally tuned you out because everything is one, 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 one. I come home, as soon as I come in the house, you want to fuss. As soon as I come in the house, you need me to do something. And there's always a honey-do list. At some point, I have turned off, and I don't even hear you no more. So I don't care.
so let me ask you something.
You asking me a lot of questions. Kamika here too.
Let me ask you something, because we talk about the man. Because again, I have my own answers, and what you said is what I kind of surmised in my own, you know, in my own mind, because I've watched and I've experienced. So why not just say so? Is it because we got to hang on in there to continue the journey until we get to where we feel, meaning the man, that I can break out now, but I got to hold on, especially if I ain't got no place to go. I got to pretend and I got to keep this act up just so that I can secure what I need from you. Is that why we don't say what we need to say?
But that's one thing. I mean, there's a lot of components. There's a lot of contingencies on it. Is that one? I may really like you. You know what I mean? But I just don't like the things that you do. And in my mind, I hope that you can see this and you'll be a better you. So and just like women stick stuff out hoping that the man is going to change. Men do the same thing. We stick it out hoping that, listen, you got to see every time you make this fried chicken, I don't eat it. Stop cooking the chicken. You know what I mean? Stop asking me what's wrong with the dinner. I don't like this chicken. I don't like the way you treat me. You got to see that every time you say, we're going over to my mama's house, I get sick. You know what I mean? Now I can't go nowhere. I don't want to go to your mama's house. At some point, we got to be able to see what's going on here. Why is it that every time this happens, this happens? So we stay in there, hoping that you're going to change. And also we stay in there because we have not gotten our exit plan yet. We haven't found number two. You know what I mean? So until number two comes, I'm stuck with number one. And that's all I got.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's where my mind went first. You haven't found something better. So you got to hang on in there until, it's just,
And Pastor Steph,
better.
it doesn't have to be better. It just has to be an out. You ever went to a job and you just laterally moved over? So you didn't go for more money. You just went to get out of this job.
Wow.
Sometimes it's just a lateral move.
Wow.
I didn't think about that one. What about you, Tamika? Did you think about that one?
I certainly did not. So we just Tarzan just leaping from one strap to the other. Doesn't really mean that the strap is going to support you, but I got there.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't consider that one, just wanting out. I'm always thinking better. I'm leaving for better, not right. Just I'm leaving because I just need to leave. So that puts a whole different spin on it. Shanti says, you're not honest, but it's up to the other person to figure it out instead of just saying what it is backwards.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I mean, how much honest can you be? How much if I stop eating and you see I've stopped eating, how much honest, so okay. So we keep on talking
honesty,
about
KL.
Wait. Okay, wait. Because I know y'all gonna beat me up. But we keep on talking about women want honesty. which is great, which is beautiful. But then when you come to us and say, "Hey, do I look fat in this dress?" and we say yes, then now you're mad at the honesty. You're mad at the
We
honesty.
ain't talking
So
about
when I
that. We
say,
ain't talking about
"Listen, you can't cook. This ain't good," you don't want the honesty. You don't. The things that you ask for, you really don't want. You really don't want. You want honesty as if, yeah, well, I'm cheating. You want that kind of honesty, and even to that point, you don't really want that honesty. You say you do until you hear it. You almost rather catch me than me tell you. Then that's the crazy part.
Well, here's something that I agree with in a sense. I've always told the ladies, listen, if you want to know, then be able to handle it when he gives it to you.
That's true.
You can't be mad when you are in his face. Somebody, just be honest with me. I just ask, just be honest with me. And then when he honest with you, you just take him through the ringer, and the relationship ain't never the same again, because now they're gonna lie. Be prepared for what you ask for, and when you don't get what you're hoping to get, because let me tell you something: if a woman is accusing you of cheating, she pretty much knows you're cheating. It ain't no
Right.
accusation. She pretty much knows you're cheating already. So when he confirms it, now what you gonna do?
All out.
Right. Now his life, you gonna make his life miserable, and things like that. Now listen, I'm not saying that it should be a pleasant experience afterwards, but what I'm saying is you need to figure out what you're gonna do with this information.
Mhm.
If it's going to be, once he confirms that he's been cheating and you're going to leave, then just leave without all of the drama and all of the fanfare. Just go ahead about your business. But if you're going to stay, then shut up, eat it, and move on, because it makes no sense for you to even have browbeat him to tell the truth. So that I do agree with Pastor KL, and this is something that I have definitely advised the ladies of. To be prepared for what you're asking for. If he's honest, then you better have already made up in your mind what you're gonna do, and just execute what you're gonna do, and just do it and move on. But this lingering, and now you're gonna take him through. You're not gonna leave him, but every day he's gonna remember that he cheated. No. I ain't got that kind of time or energy to put into that.
Mhm.
No.
You know what? Forget about. I mean, so we went to the extreme. Forget about the cheating. Let's go to the do I look fat in the dress thing? And you say yes. So every day you gonna remind me, oh, I can't go out with you because I look too fat in the dress. I can't go
Yes.
out with you because I don't
Yes.
look good in
I
this outfit.
agree.
I can't go out. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
why do I tell you the truth? Stop asking me questions you can't handle. Listen, not only that, just like you just said, when a woman asks you, are you cheating? She pretty much already knows. You ask me, do you look fat in the dress? You already know you look fat. So you want me to say, no, baby, that dress make you look slim. No, it don't. You had a cookie too many. Too many.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that part. Well, let me get to this comment. Shanti says, and then you get mad when things don't play out the way you want them backwards. Not talking about those who don't really want honesty. Even if they don't, you're still obligated to be honest. If I'm asking, I want to know the
Lying.
Thank you. The lying is what's gonna get you hurt. And when I don't know, it's a catch-22 situation for certain men. Because if you're saying something, so go back to your premise of you stop eating the chicken, but you've never bothered to say, I don't like your chicken. You need to say, I don't like your chicken. You don't need to just stop eating the chicken. Say, I don't like your chicken. And deal with the backlash.
Pastor Steph, did you hear what you said? Okay, so
Yes.
I can see if we having this conversation and we all light skinned. Because the backlash is different from light skin folks. You know, I just, I'm sorry. Just deal with the backlash for color women only. No. I'd rather not eat the chicken. This ain't for color girls. I'd rather not eat the chicken. I'm sorry.
Wait, Tamika, what would what say you? Should he say, I don't like the chicken, or should he not eat the chicken and just hope that she notices he ain't eating the chicken? What's your vote?
I would say just, babe, I don't like this chicken. I understand where he's coming from, but you also have to know and gauge your relationship. You know, are you the type of relationship where you can come to her and say, you know, you put too much seasoning on that, or this chicken is raw, you know, can you say that?
Tamika, let's role play. You be me, I be you. You tell me you don't like the chicken. Go ahead. Come on.
Babe, I don't really like this chicken. You know, I appreciate that you cooked it, but I don't like it.
You don't like the chicken? Well, you should have cooked it yourself. I ain't see you pulling nothing out. What you mean you don't like this? What's wrong with my chicken? It tastes just like your mama. I got the recipe from your mama. It tastes just like your mama chicken. It's brown like your mama. You know what? You'll see the next time you have a piece of chicken or anything in this house.
Babe,
now here's the problem.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, role play. Go ahead.
I was like, well, maybe we could have fish, you know, just not this chicken. I don't like it.
Don't worry about it, baby. Don't worry about it. You don't like the chicken? Don't worry about it. The next time you have a piece of chicken, be from the Colonel.
So here's the problem. I'm going to go here. If she cannot handle you complaining about the chicken, even in that manner, because that was nice. He didn't, you weren't shaming her or anything like that. Babe, I don't like the chicken. Okay. Then that means that every other part of your relationship is like that as well. It ain't just about no chicken.
Right.
So why are you together? That's my question.
Let me tell you something. And I think I've said this many times. I married a woman who could not boil water for spaghetti. I married a woman who could not make frosted flakes, and all you had to do was add the milk. But she brought so much other stuff to the table, it wasn't about her cooking. She knew she couldn't cook. But you got these Betty Crockers when they got a cookbook and think because you can read, you can cook. I'm sorry, you can't.
And I'm going to stretch this thing, because you were the very one who said that she mismanaged the money and the house was in foreclosure. So that's my point. She ain't bringing that much to the table. If that chicken is messed up and she cannot handle you telling her about the chicken, there's a whole lot of other stuff that's wrong. And then she ain't bringing that much to no table that's going to wash away all those things. I disagree. I'm not saying she's not bringing anything to the table. Don't misunderstand me. But I'm not buying that she's bringing so much to the table. That's why you staying. And I'm not even making this personal in your marriage, but just period. If me and you can't talk about the simple fact that, listen, everybody makes, even if you're a good cook. I've had the man that I was dealing with tell me, babe, I don't like this particular dish. If you make it when you make it the other way, I'm good. So I just don't make it no more for him. Yeah, I just didn't make it no more. It ain't no big deal. It didn't bother me. My feelings wasn't hurt, because the honesty of it is everybody ain't gonna like everything. So if you are that temperamental that your man can't tell you, babe, I really don't like it, then there's a whole lot of other stuff that's twisted as well. Why are you there? Now, I'm going to ask Tamika, does she agree or disagree?
No, I do agree. Because that means that if you can't talk to me about something as simple as what I put on the table, there's other things that we're disagreeing about. We're disagreeing about the bills. We're disagreeing about if there are children involved. We're disagreeing about, where we're going, how we spend our time, how we spend our money. It's all across the board. And my thing is, if you can't talk to me about something as simple as dinner, what other things are you avoiding telling me? Or what other things are you wait a whole week to tell me such and such and such, because you don't feel like you can. Like I just, the situation that I mentioned before, I paid the bill, but we sitting in the dark. You waited until all that time, they give you a month and they give you, time. So maybe, a couple of months, you haven't told me that you didn't pay the bill. And now we sitting here in the dark because you said, well, if I tell her that I took that money and I spent it on, she gonna go all the way out. Not good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is just symbolic. This chicken conversation is symbolic of bigger problems.
Mm-hmm.
And if she can't handle, you don't like her chicken, she can't handle a whole lot of other things. So then I ask them, why stay with her?
I'm leaving. Is anybody available out there? Anybody available? I come on, what you guys?
There's no Terrence and there's no Brian.
Wait. I'm a man of God. Is there anyone out there?
Unfortunately, you have no Serge, no Terrence, and no Brian. So you get no help from that gender side.
Hey, wait. Will there be one?
Yeah, there'll be one leaving the room. Yeah, but this is symbolic of other problems. And that's something that we need. Guess what? It goes back to those red flags. You, Pastor KL, like to talk about the fact that women, they collect flags. Men do too.
Yes.
Men do too. And, I know we started off talking about if he don't have these traits, there ain't nothing going to save this relationship. But I put the onus on him at this point. We're talking about, what was the point? The point was caring. Does he care? And I was asking, did he walk in the door not caring, or did he grow to not caring? And, it's probably some, like you said, it's some of both. Some people walk in not caring because, they just got to play the role to get to where they need to get to. And then you got others who start off caring, but then, because of her possibly doing things, he no longer cares. All right, here's another component that they're saying. If he don't have this, no matter how much you think you connected, their relationship ain't lasting. Understanding. Oh, Tamika, what you got?
Yeah, you only trying to see your point. We're having a disagreement or whatever, and you're trying to figure out why I do such and such. A lot of times, arguments can be resolved if you just take the time to understand. It doesn't necessarily mean that you agree. And what I may do may be something that's completely different than what you've ever seen or known. But the fact that you try to understand, okay, well, this is her mental processes. This is why she does blah, blah, blah. You're not even trying to understand. You just want your point and your way. That's kind of like a baby. A baby doesn't care that mommy is running around doing stuff. And, at that time they're crying. All they think about is I'm crying and you need to give me a bottle. You need to change me. You need to feed me, blah, blah, blah. It becomes a problem when she's going to handle stuff, and the same thing in a relationship. All you thinking about is you. You're not trying to understand where I'm coming from. That's going to seriously cause a problem.
All righty. Pastor KL, will the relationship last if he doesn't understand? if he's
No,
not
not at
understanding.
all. Not at all. For the people who are listening, the reason why Pastor Steph and I get along so well is that we a lot of times agree to disagree, but yet we understand the other side. Though we sometimes don't agree with the other side, we do understand. And sometimes you just need someone to understand. And whether you're in a marriage ship or a friendship, I always say that the ship has to take you somewhere. If the ship is not leaving the dock, then the relationship is not working. So whether you're in a friendship, relationship, whatever, if you're not progressing, if you're not moving, if you're not taking the tour, if you're not going to Cozumel, if you're not going anywhere, then the ship is stagnating and you need to get off the boat.
Right. Absolutely. We got to check in from our girl Adele. Good morning, Adele. Thank you so much for joining us. It's true. I consistently tell people just because I don't agree does not mean I don't understand. And in a relationship, you definitely need that understanding because we're not going to always agree. I'm not going to always see it from your point. You're not going to always see it from my point. But if you understand, then that will take this relationship someplace. All right. We've got, let's see, paternal instincts. If he does not have paternal instincts, no matter how much we get along, this relationship will not go anywhere. Do you agree or disagree, Tamika?
I think that the lack of paternal instincts can cause issues. And sometimes I see it on both sides, not just the male, but the female, in that, she didn't have a father role. So what ends up happening is when you get into a relationship and you become a parent, you're trying to figure it out. You feeling your way around, which causes issues, and there are conversations that are necessary that you miss because you didn't have that to begin with.
Okay. Pastor KL, would you agree or disagree that if he does not have those paternal instincts, no matter how much you two may get along, ain't nothing gonna save that relationship?
Yeah, I definitely believe that. And I agree with Tamika. If you didn't have a father figure, 9 out of 10 times you don't know how to be a father, and you just going by the seat of your pants, And now these days, you're not getting into a relationship without someone already having children. You know what I mean? So you get into a relationship with a woman who already has a child, and you can't step up and be a role model or have that paternal, instance. That's going to cause a whole lot of problems because what you think is discipline, she's not agreeing with, and it's because you don't really know what discipline is. You just think the child should shut up because the child should shut up, and then there's ways to coax the child into being quiet, not to shut up. And then on the other side, as Tamika says, I've seen women give birth and still not be mothers. So
Absolutely.
That's a whole other one.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Chivalry. I don't care how great we get along. If you don't have chivalry as a man, this relationship won't go anywhere. Agree or disagree, Tamika?
I think that, it's funny because women are different in their levels of chivalry. There are some women that they gonna stand there until you open up the door, and then there are some that, but you've got to have some form of chivalry. Al in this age, many times opens up the car door for me. He goes to my side before he goes to his side. He opens up the front door. Just, courtesy, give me some type of something that, tells me that you appreciate me as a woman, but I think with regard to the chivalry, there are levels and, the woman defines what the level of chivalry is.
Okay. Pastor KL, agree or disagree?
On this one, I would have to disagree. Al is 200 years old. That's all he knew. He knew what chivalry was. He knew what chivalry was. You know what I mean? I mean,
Oh
listen.
my
Back
goodness.
in our days, we knew what chivalry was. These younger people have not grown up with that. They have not seen that. Their parents have not opened the door. Their parents, mother had not served the father his meal. You understand what I'm saying? So they don't know what chivalry is. They don't know what that is. They don't know what it is to when it looks like you're shivering, you know, take off my jacket and put it over you. They say, come on, you need to walk fast if you want to get in this car. You know, it's cold out here. You know what I mean? So I disagree because there is no chivalry. So they can't define, they don't know what it looks like. So they just live it. And then these women who don't need a man until they want a man, you know what I mean? Then, I can do this myself. I don't need you for this. So no, you ain't got to open up my door. I can open up my own door. Well, then open up your door. And don't be mad when I don't open it.
So now that you disagree, where does the relationship stand? Because what the premise is here is if you don't have these things, no matter how much you get along, the relationship won't last. So what is
And I disagree with that because if you listen, if I never had $1 million, I can still live.
So I just come in from work. I went to buy groceries for us, right? So I got 3 heavy bags. But you in the kitchen, you can't come to the door to help me with these bags. That's part of chivalry.
Listen, again, Tamika, you and I are dinosaurs. I understand that. But the millennial mind is, well, how the hell did you get it all the way here from the supermarket? Now, because you're at the door, you want to come help you? You done got it all the way here. I'm just telling you how they think.
Right. But will the relationship last? The relationship is lasting like that? That's the challenge that's on the table.
If I don't know what it is to do better, I can't do better. If I'm not convicted,
we're not talking about you. You didn't already explain you. We're talking about Tamika, who has that expectation. You don't know how to do better, so you ain't doing better.
No, then just as you told me to speak the truth, then Tamika need to say, hey, Al, you don't see all these bags in my hand? You know, this is what I need you to do. That's the conversation Tamika needs to have. At some point, somebody got to teach somebody something in order for it to get better.
So she should be in a constant state of telling him what the obvious is.
It don't have to be. Listen, common sense to everybody is not common sense. So no, she doesn't have to take it. She doesn't have to take it for so long, but she has to figure out how long she's gonna take it.
That's the question on the table. Will the relationship last? The answer is no. Based on what you're saying the guy has no understanding of what chivalry is because it's never been displayed, it's never been taught. Tamika's saying that she has that expectation of chivalry to the degree of, can you just help me with these bags? You're saying, well, you know what? What is not already known, you should be ready to teach. And I'm saying, well, then that's right there saying that the relationship ain't gonna last, because just like you said, it's only so long that I'm gonna teach you everything I gotta keep telling you about. I gotta tell you to please open up the door. Please help me carry the bags. Please pull out the chair. Please do this. Please do that. Again, these are all those red flags we're talking about that it ain't gonna last, because ain't nobody gonna keep on teaching you everything. That ain't gonna work.
Cannot fire me from a job that I was not trained for. You hired me.
But you had to bring something to the table. Yo, what is that?
What you mean? That? I brought something. Okay, watch this. Okay, wait a minute. So here it is. Remember. So what I brought to the table is, and y'all gonna get mad, I look good. And you fell for it. You didn't know nothing else on the inside of the book, but the outside of the book looked like it was a pretty enough book that I could take home and read. Once you took it home, you realized that this storyline wasn't really that good. But that's not my fault that you took this book out the library.
Okay, I'm a twist this. I'm a twist the scenario. You're a person who hires people. So when that person came to the interview, they looked like they were the perfect person for the job. And after you gave them the job, every time you turned around, you had to tell them everything. You gonna keep them employed?
No, I'm fired.
Oh my gosh, that's what I just got finished saying. Now you're gonna talk about no, because they look good. You should teach them everything. No, but when I put it in your lap, you're gonna talk about no, you won't fire them. I just got finished saying the same thing.
First of all, bring it down a little bit. I know you're real emotional, but you start me yelling, and I get nervous, and I pour pee in drinks now. You know.
Well, thank God you're in Alabama and I'm in New York. That way I ain't got to worry about what you pouring or what you serving. Wait, there's a comment. Shanti says, no, relationship doesn't last. They know what's expected, lie, and get mad when they get dropped. So stop pretending. But that's the same thing I just got finished saying. Tamika, isn't that the same thing I just got finished saying? Yes, that it ain't gonna last because ain't nobody gonna want to keep teaching you something over and over again. I don't want to every step we get, oh, I gotta teach you this. I don't want to do that with my kids. I don't want to do that with a man. No, I'm not gonna want to keep doing things. Just like you said, you put the front up and made me think you were higher material for this position. And then I find out that you can't do, because you've got to bring something to the table more than just looking good. You have to have something so that somebody wouldn't mind investing, but somebody's not going to teach you from scratch. That's not going to work for anything or anybody. So no, that relationship ain't going to last. Because she's going to get tired of telling him everything. Really quickly, I want to go.
I agree with that. I really agree with that, with what you said on that premise. But I will tell you that most places want to teach you from scratch, because then you become a sponge. And everything you know is what I've imparted in you. So it works.
But you still have to bring enough to the table to make that person want to invest in you. You ain't listen, I don't care how much of a sponge you are. There is no employer who has time to teach you from scratch. Who got that kind of time?
The military. They break you down.
Y'all yelling. Y'all. I don't know why y'all yelling at me.
But you still got to bring something to the table, Tamika. If you're not strong enough to do the basic push-up and pull-up and obstacle course, you're not going to pass basic training. You have to, they don't mind training you, but you've got to bring something to the table. So even military, you got to pass the test. You got to pass the test, and they take you through basic training to see what they got and what they're working with. And they'll fill in the blanks. But you cannot walk up into anything, especially a job, unless the job is creating that position. But if that is needed and was already operating before you got there, and maybe the person got sick and, couldn't work anymore, died, walked off the job, whatever the situation is, you still got to bring something to the table. They can't teach you everything from scratch, because now they're losing productivity, which means they're losing money. Who's hiring you like that and they're going to lose money? They understand that they may have to take a step back in order to take steps forward, but ain't nobody starting from scratch. I'm sorry. Nah, ain't nobody doing that. So relationship is not going to last. Plain and simple as that. You didn't already said it to me, good. It ain't going to last. We ain't listening to Pastor KL.
Moral of the story is keep who you got.
Oh, Lord, please don't tell people that. Oh, gosh. Don't even say that in joke. Don't even say it as a joke, because you know what? A lot of people live in that. I'll just keep the devil.
Right.
I'll just stay with the devil I know. Nah,
Right.
I don't even say that stuff as a joke, because if people say, well, you know, you know what? Good. Let them say Pastor KL said, stay with the devil, you know. Let them put that on you. Oh my goodness. Shanti says they don't stay with you. That's why most jobs promote from within. No time to start from scratch. Thank you so much, my Due Time crew, for your contribution into today's conversation. And we need to stick to Sunday nights, Pastor KO, because you don't know what you're talking about in these things here. We're going to leave you off these segments. You can't quit. You can't quit. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Bless
All
one,
right.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. It's the top of the hour on a Monday morning. You know what that means? It's time for the switch with Shantice. Let's say good morning. What you got, Shantice? Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, what is that on top of your head?
This is my wisdom button.
What you got for us today, girl?
I have to make it bigger. Today we have the switch with Shantice, where we make the switch from the streets to our godly seat, and we are up to switch tip 243, which is pray God comes for you. Now, how did I come up with this switch tip? It was during Bible study. Me and God. Just me, God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and the written word. That's it. And I don't remember starting off with reading these verses, but I believe, and this is one of the reasons why I love my one-on-one time with God, right? Because he has me studying to where it's like actual studying. So there's a lot of reference reading, which is why it's very important to also own a physical copy of the Bible. Millennials, Gen Zs, Alphas, I understand that everything is so convenient on our devices. We can download the YouVersion app, which is the best Bible app in my opinion. I've been through a few. A lot of the other ones don't stand up to this one. I get it. However, there's nothing like having that physical copy, because the reference verses are phenomenal. And when we think about come for me, right? Or I'm coming for you, of course, especially if you're a millennial, a Gen Z, an Alpha, you automatically associate it with the slang, don't come for me. And as, what's her name from Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kenya Moore, I believe she is the one who originated and promoted the don't come for me unless I send for you, which means don't be trying to attack me or don't be trying to address me unless I call you to address me. When we think about come for me, the street slang, the meaning is to attack, to criticize, to confront, or target someone, often verbally or with intense scrutiny. So when I'm coming for you, it's never anything good in the streets. It's not, I'm coming for you to give you your accolades. I'm coming for you to let you know how great of a person I think you are, how well you did on the job today. It's like, no, I'm coming to let you know how I think you're a bum, you're broke, you're slow, you slept with so-and-so's man, don't think I ain't see how you scamming. Like that's how we come for each other in the streets. But when God says, I'm coming for you, when Jesus says, I'm coming for you, it has a whole different meaning. And what I've learned is when I look up these definitions, because again, God has me really, really big on definitions, is I'm no longer content with just doing the basic like Google search, like what does at mean? What does a mean? Because that's how, like, even though I be knowing the definitions to these words, a lot of times it's like, go read the definition, write it down, meditate on it, and really absorb it. So even when it's a word that I know the definition to, but whether I know the definition or not, I also look up the biblical definition, because we read and we learn because we read that all good and perfect things comes from the Father of lights, comes from God. So the real definitions come from the Lord. Now, sorry, I don't want to act up. Okay, so when we talk about God coming for me, Jesus coming for me, here's what it really means, right? Matthew 24, verses 30 through 31, I'm reading in the Amplified version. And at that time, the Son of Man At that time, the sign of the Son of Man coming in his glory will appear in the sky, and then all the tribes of the earth, and especially Israel, will mourn, regretting their rebellion and rejection of the Messiah, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory and brilliance and splendor. And he will send his angels with a loud trumpet, and they will gather together his elect, God's chosen ones, from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. So, in street terms, what does this mean? It means that when God finally looks over at Jesus and says, it's time, because we read biblically that Jesus doesn't even know when God is going to send him back to wrap up this earth. Only God knows. So when God looks over at Jesus and says it's time, Jesus is going to be sent back to earth to reclaim not the earth in its entirety, but to reclaim those of us who are saying, yes, God, I'm sick of trying to do it my way. I'm sick of trying to live on my own logic. I'm living for you. I strive every day to live for you. That's what it means when he says he's coming for his elect, God's chosen people. And Jesus is going to disperse the angels to all four ends of the earth to gather God's chosen people. That's what it means when God is coming for you. When Jesus is coming for you. He's coming for those who are now saying, those of us who have the opportunity now, before God closes our eyes, we're saying, yes, God. Every morning he wakes us up, we're saying, yes, God. Throughout the day, we're saying, yes, God. Doesn't mean we'll be perfect. Doesn't mean we won't mess up at some point, but we're striving to stay in him, and we're not okay with being lovers of the world and living the way we used to live, right? Okay, so comparing to the streets, we would say, I'm coming for you, meaning I'm coming for you to tell you that you're stupid. When God says I'm coming for you, it means I'm coming for you because you're telling me that you want me and you want me to be the head of your life. Now, you gotta also have the flip side of that, right? Matthew 13:41-42, Amplified Version reads, the Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, those things by which people are led into sin, and all who practice evil, leading others into sin, and will throw them into the furnace of fire. In that place there will be weeping over sorrow and pain, and grinding of teeth over distress and anger. So God can come for you. It's still not the way we come for each other in the streets. But when God comes for us, he's either going to come to take you with him, or he's going to come to throw you into the fiery furnace. Now listen, we have a whole lot of power. 2 Timothy 1:7 tells us God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and of a sound mind, aka self-control. We have all of the ability to dictate how God comes for us. The same way we do with people in the streets. And I'm just not really realizing this. Like, wow, we do have a whole lot of authority that we don't really exercise. Okay, so real quick, streets. If I'm living my life like a bum, and there are multiple definitions of a bum. You don't have to be broke to be a bum. There are a lot of wealthy bums out here walking around, okay? A lot. But bum meaning I'm having this real remedial, I'm choosing to have this remedial mentality. I'm choosing to walk around in a mediocre, basic state of mind, which is a sin. Because Jesus says, I came to give life and life in abundance. Meaning I didn't come so that you can live a basic life. So if you're choosing to live basic, if you're choosing not to live, again, go back to the PSA this morning. If you're choosing to not live out in your gifts every day, to not fulfill the purpose that God has given you, you're living a basic and mediocre life. Those words are synonymous with each other. So if I'm choosing to live like that, and I'm choosing to live as a scammer, because scammer doesn't only mean financial scamming, doesn't only mean credit cards and writing back checks and all that. It means I'm always trying to get over. The Bible talks about that as well. Then I'm giving you in the streets a reason to come for me, a reason to attack me, a reason to criticize me, a reason to confront me, a reason to target me. If I'm choosing to live for God and I'm showing God that God, okay, I know I'm not quite getting this part right, but God, I'm striving in you every day. I'm setting myself up for God to come for me, as when he comes for his elect. his chosen ones. If I'm choosing to say, you know what, God, I got this, I don't need you. Jesus, I'm good for you, I don't need you. You're choosing to have yourself set up that when he sends his son back, Jesus is going to come for you and you're going to be thrown into the fiery furnace. So we have to make sure we're making the choice of making a conscious decision to make the switch, by having people come, forget people, having God come for you in a way that's going to have you in that fiery furnace, or is he going to come for you in a way that's going to set you up even while you're still here on earth, and so that you can live with him eternally? Thank you, Pastor Steph.
Thank you, Shantice. Pray God comes for you. Another practical switch tip. Thank you so much. We pray you have a blessed day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. Ooh, how do you tie these two together? You know, if we're in a relationship and he does not have the he doesn't have these particular traits, then no matter how much we get along, then we ain't gonna make it. Well, it's kind of like the same thing that the switch tip is presenting. Pray God comes for you. So we're praying that God sees what we're offering and it's acceptable to him. And at the end of the day, he comes and he selects us. And yet we're in a relationship and we see that they're not bringing something to the table. And we're asking the question, will we stay? Would that person keep you? It's the same concept. You have to bring something to the table. You can't just say, God, I want you to come and get me, but yet you're not bringing anything to the table. You've got to show God that you're invested in this thing. You know, we want to get married, so we want to be marriage material, and we want this guy that we're dating to see the great in us and want to make us his wife. And we got to bring something to the table. We can't wait until the wedding day to now show up all beautiful and dolled up. We've got to show him before he marries us, before he says, I do, that we're worth what he wants. It's the same thing with what we were talking about what you bring to the table. If you don't have those kind of traits, no matter how much we may get along, because see, I'm challenging the get along. How are you getting along when these traits are missing? How are we getting along? That to me doesn't even make sense. Again, get along. What does get along even mean when I'm listing several things that you may not be bringing to the table, and now I don't want you anymore, or I don't, the relationship won't last because we're on two different ends of the spectrum. That's us and God. We can't expect God to come for us. It doesn't make sense that you would pray that God comes for you when you're not bringing anything to the table. Then what is he coming for you for? Emptiness? No. You've got to live a life that God is pleased with, so that when he sends his son, you are one that gets caught up to meet him in the air, in that first resurrection. This stuff has got to be real to you. And until it's real to you, it ain't gonna matter. You're not gonna look good. You're not gonna look good to God if everything that he wants us to do, it ain't on that list. Listen, The relationship that you have with God, you have got to have certain traits, or that relationship ain't gonna work. You're gonna be left. You're gonna be one on the left. There's gonna be some on the right, and there's gonna be some on the left. And you want to be on the left, then bring nothing to the table. Leave out those traits that God needs in order for you to be selected when Jesus comes back. If you don't have those components, ain't gonna be no relationship with God. It's the same exact premise. We think that we can hand God any old little thing. God is in my heart. I ain't got to go to church. He got me doing this. He got me doing that. Oh, I'm so favored here. I'm so favored there. Oh, he thinks of me as this. He didn't put me on a pedestal and a mantle. He's doing all of this and doing all of that. I don't have to do all of these things. And I'm looking at all the components that are missing. I'm looking at the components that are missing, and I'm saying to myself, so if all of these components are missing, what are you ultimately giving to God? And if you're only giving these things to God, then what is he actually getting from you? He's just giving, and he's giving, and you're not giving anything. So then how is this a relationship? How is this a relationship? It's not. No more than the other scenario is a relationship. That's why I say, no matter how great we get along. No, there is no getting along if I can't rely on you to be honest. How are we getting along? How are we possibly getting along? So know that you want God to come back for you. You want Jesus to come for you, then you're going to have to bring those things to the table. And as Pastor KL said last night, we always love to say the BIBLE is the basic instruction before leaving this earth. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention to what it is that we need to do, what it is that we need to stay away from in order to please God. And then and only then will it be the right chemistry. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us and helping us do what we do. Please do not miss this opportunity to just develop that relationship with the Lord and accept Jesus as our personal Savior right now. Please do not miss the opportunity to strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Until tomorrow, God spares, where it's Let's Talk About It Tuesday Church Folk Day. Until then, I love you.